Quickly before we get into it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow your boy on Twitch. Yes, sir. Bernie Sanders did in fact say that.
Election night in America, one of the most consequential elections in recent history.
Donald Trump has won the presidential election in Kentucky.
To Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. Missouri will go to Donald Trump.
It's clear now that Donald Trump has picked up key support among Hispanic voters, despite all the things that he said.
Donald Trump will win the state of North Carolina.
That the state of Georgia
surprise,
will go
surprise.
to former President Donald Trump.
The evening was getting increasingly somber as people realized what this map is looking like.
CNN projects that
Feels
Donald
bad,
Trump
bro.
will win the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Kamala Harris is not winning.
So you won't hear from the vice president tonight?
News Decision Desk can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the
Got him.
47th president of the United
Hello,
States.
hello, happy Thanksgiving, yo.
But the Democratic Party is fighting for you.
I like how Ella doesn't seem to work. But I swear to God, watch. I swear to God, hold on.
No.
It just don't like you. Lightbot just don't like you. Oh.
Well.
By the way, we're doing a reaction, as you could clearly see. If you don't know, this is Shoe0nHead.
What have we learned? Nothing, apparently. I regret to inform you, everything I predicted about the election in my last video came true, and more. Men did overwhelmingly turn out for Trump, especially young men. But I was wrong about one thing. Young men weren't the only ones who came out in droves for Trump. Nearly everyone did.
Yeah, which is crazy, bro. It was blacks, it was whites, it was women. It was insane. This entire thing was insane.
Madman took everything. Every swing state, Pennsylvania, Georgia, my home state, New York, was closer to flipping red than Florida was to flipping blue. Turns out Dick Cheney as brat wasn't the best message to win over voters. Dems did so bad it really had me thinking, damn, did we steal that election? So what happened here? How did it go so wrong? Is it too late for the Democratic Party, or can they turn this around? Will the Democrats learn from this, or will they double down and get worse? In this video, I'm going to go through all the excuses and the copes the Democrats and the broader left are coming up with to avoid accountability. Read some silly tweets, watch some silly news clips, and even give the Democratic Party some advice on how to win 2028. Don't worry, Republicans watching.
That's the crucial part. What advice will you give to help them win next time, so this doesn't happen again? Because I said it before in another video. We don't know, because if they double down, if the Democrats double down, I don't see them winning for like let's just say for like at least the next 2 election cycles, bro. So that's already 4 years, and then 2 election cycles after that, then they might have a chance, because all this, whatever they did in this one, will probably be fresh out of people's memories. But who knows? Who knows? I'm just someone who's traveled the entire country multiple times over and talked to everyone from every walk of life. What do I know?
This, they won't listen. Maybe in 2050, under the barren Trump monarchy, someone might come to their senses, but not anytime soon. If you only watched or read most mainstream liberal news, it really seemed like Kamala had this in the bag, which is why you should try to get your news from a variety of different sources.
Hey, ground news ad.
Oh, that reminds me. Before we dive into this election dissection, let's give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, a sponsor I've been working with for over 4 years now, Ground News. Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers an easy and transparent way to read the news all across the political spectrum. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown that helps you understand the full story and makes sure you're getting both sides. One of my favorite features of Ground News is the blind spot feature, which shows you what news stories have been covered by one side of the political spectrum and ignored by the other. For example, here is a story about how Bernie Sanders is open to working with Trump on capping credit card interests, and there's 23 sources on it, and 89% are right-wing. No left-wing sources have covered the story. And this story about how 2 women have told the ethics panel that Matt Gaetz paid them for sex, 31 sources 61% of them left-wing. You can even see who owns these political outlets. Ground News also makes it really easy and fun to compare headlines to see how ownership or political bias can affect the framing of a story. For example, this story about how a man was arrested after allegedly a stabbing spree in Manhattan that left 2 dead and 1 injured. This left-wing outlet says, man arrested after alleged stabbing spree in Manhattan that left 2 dead, 1 injured. This right-wing outlet says, 2 dead, 1 critically injured in Manhattan as knife-wielding maniac launches unprovoked stabbing spree. I have been using Ground News since 2021 and I am just obsessed with this app. It is a great and easy way to stay informed. Plus, it really helps me see how both sides frame the same.
I mean, fair enough, but like, there's never anything good in the news. Like, I don't know why I would want to pay to wake up and be disappointed. You know what I mean? But
stories so differently. Best of all, for Black Friday, I am offering 50% off their Vantage plan, which is the plan I use to access all their amazing features. This is their biggest discount of the year, so go to ground.news/shoe, use the QR code here on the screen, or use the link in the video description down below, and subscribe today for only $4.16 repeating per month. I personally think what they're doing is very important because it helps approach the news in a more balanced and transparent way, and I feel like we really need that nowadays. So thank you, Ground News, for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Right? And now, let's get back to this election dissection, shall we?
There's no point in saying good morning, because it certainly is not one.
From blaming the American people to blaming Joe Rogan, the Democrats and the media are having a hard time coping with their loss, and I don't blame them. It was a pretty big loss. Embarrassing, quite frankly. Donald Trump overperformed in nearly every state, with basically every demographic, and the entire country seems to be shifting more red. Jesus. Everyone was so sure dangerous, devious, dastardly Donald would never make his way back into the White House to steal democracy. And he did it. Again. With democracy. Anyway, I got a lot of comments on my last video from new fags like, wait, you're left-wing and you hate the-
Wait a minute. I don't... What'd you just say? I don't. That was 100% 4chan terminology. I don't know if that flies here anymore. I mean, I'm not gonna go back, but if you heard it, you heard it.
The Democrats? Yeah, man, that's a pretty common thing. Damn. If you were shocked that I'm left-wing, maybe that's a sign you need to take a step back and evaluate some of the preconceived stereotypes you have of people. Not all of us are crazy blue-haired socialists. No. Some of us are crazy brown-haired socialists. But for those of you who are new here, hello, I am Shoe0nHead. If you ask the right wing, I am Stalin. If you ask the left wing, I am Hitler. Fiscally far left, culturally centrist, socially retarded. But if you really must put me in a box, it's not that hard to pin me down. I'm a populist. Think Huey Long if he was a 5'3" Italian New Yorker woman who still did her hair and makeup like it was 2008. Put a pin in that Huey Long name, by the way. He's gonna come up later. I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s. My political awakening was jibjab.com. The first time I voted for Obama. I was ready for that hope and change. Instead, we got the crushing of Occupy Wall Street and more drone strikes. And from there, it only got worse.
Don't forget the deportation. There was a lot of that too, believe it or not.
I voted for Bernie in the primaries in 2016, and I watched as the Democratic Party did everything in their power to destroy this man twice. So it is safe to say I am a little biased when it comes to the Democratic Party, but I don't think I've hated them more than I do right now. The truth is, my last video was way meaner and way harsher than the final product turned out to be. When I showed the video to my assistant, he basically had an intervention with me and he was like, listen, you need to soften this up a bit. It's a few days before the election. You went too hard. Well, the election is over. And I'm sorry, River, but I'm going hard.
I just should have done that in the first place. I don't know why you would go soft right before the election. Also, I had no idea you had an assistant.
You idiots. You morons. You imbeciles. Kamala Harris? Really? That's who you threw up there? The one who dropped out before Iowa? The one who got blown the f*** out by Tulsi Gabbard? Why didn't you hold a primary? Aren't you the f***ing saviors of democracy? Where the f*** was the democracy? Oh, big congratulations to Tim Walz on being the first white male DEI hire. It didn't f***ing work.
Damn.
The DNC completely neutered that f***ing guy, reduced him to this weird token white man. Hello, fellow men, I too play football. But hey, men weren't the only demographic you completely dropped the ball with. Trump made incredible gains with women, too. Oh, and all those-
That was crazy. That was crazy when I read the reports about how Trump is just like super up on women right now, and people were like, "Oh yeah, it's only like white women or something like that," and I was like, "Nope, I'm sorry, no, that's just not how that works anymore." It used to be like that, but now I don't know what happened, but yeah, and now people are molding about it.
Never Trumpers you tried to court? The people who like the old, respectable GOP? You know, the old, respectable GOP that led us into a pointless war that cost us trillions of dollars and millions of lives. But we're at least nice on Twitter, that GOP. Yeah, they didn't come out and vote for your ass either. So you got Liz Cheney to tag along for what? For f***ing what? You raised $1 billion and ended up $20 million in debt? Where the hell did all that money go? Maybe
Wait, so is that like...
f***ing what? You raised $1 billion...
How does this happen, bro? I don't know if all of y'all know, but you know she spent it had to be a couple million, right, to release a Fortnite map called Freedom City that had no guns. Yeah, it was really stupid that they didn't hold a primary. Surprise, surprise, but whatever. I kind of had a feeling they weren't going to do that anyway. But you released the Fortnite map. Fortnite has guns in it. You decided for your map you were going to have no guns in it. That's crazy. Also, you were targeting the wrong people. The majority of people that play that game are not old enough to vote yet. So yeah, it's cool. The Zoomers know who you are, but that's not going to convince their parents to vote for you. It's whatever, dude.
Dollars and ended up $20 million in debt? Where the hell did all that money go? Maybe you should have blown it all on celebrity appearances that did nothing. Or maybe it was spending 6 figures on a single-use set for the Call Her Daddy podcast that didn't even hit 1 million views. I want to see a full audit of this campaign, because I wouldn't be surprised if this was all like a big money laundering scheme, because honestly, that makes more sense than this being a legitimate presidential campaign. Then they had the audacity to beg their supporters for money after she lost.
Yeah.
How about every DNC consultant should have this map sewn onto the inside of their eyelids? May they never have a peaceful wink of sleep for the rest of their miserable lives. So that is how I feel about the whole situation.
I see, that's not even just you. That's literally everybody. Everyone I know that is blue feels the exact same way too. But also, something that was interesting is someone who sits in the center and just wants to call out bullshit on both sides. Even though she spent $1 billion on like ads and shit, I didn't see a single ad for her, like at all. Like all these ads that are coming out that are just like, take a look at this ad. This ad was stupid as shit. I didn't see a single one of those till now. And it isn't like I hide, bro. I don't hide off the internet, my guy. Like I'm chronically online, my guy. I have 4 monitors in front of me to inhale and ingest slop at an unprecedented rate. Because that's just what I find fun to do every once in a while, right? I saw 0 ads, except for that one that had to do with gaming. That's because your boy is a gamer out here. Insane. $1 billion. Now, I don't know if she's going to go over it, but I also heard that there was a report she spent $500 million, by the way, $500 million on her staff. So, money laundering, right? Because like there's no other way to put that. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? I could have ran a better campaign, and I don't know shit. Like, what are we talking about here?
But what do Democrats and the media think? What do they think the Harris campaign did wrong? Why do
sexism
they think Kamala lost?
I think Harris ran a really good campaign. If there's one person I do not blame for this loss, it is Vice President Harris.
This is gonna be a long fucking video. The media this morning saying Dems need to have a reckoning. No, we don't. We can't be blamed because we expected Americans to be who they always claim they are. Democrats don't have a messaging problem. America has a racism problem.
See, I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know how to feel about that, because I would fall into this category. And no, not because I voted for Trump. It's because I didn't vote at all. You know what I mean? And like when you tell people you don't vote, they're just like, you're part of the problem. It's like, yeah, whatever, dude. I'm just here to watch the world burn, bro. Like, there's not much else I could do. Because you think, remember, take a little side note. Follow me, children. Back a day, when you saw adults and you thought adults were smart and you thought they knew everything. And then as you got older and older, you realized that they're dumb and actually just as dumb as you are. They just, can pay bills because they have a job. And you kind of realize that, wow, you are not as smart. You are not nearly as smart as you think you are. And then you realize that they put politics into that. And it's like, oh no. You're all just really dumb. God. And then now we have to deal with people like this. This is unfortunate. And I'm telling you right now, you know, call me a cynic, but I just don't feel like whoever is in office is gonna do anything. But I guess we'll figure it out together.
Kamala ran a flawless campaign in 100 days
no
and
one's gonna
refused to
fucking
let
help,
y'all
bro.
gaslight me into believing anything other than that. She lost because she's a woman, and a black one at that.
I mean, this really was an
Nope. We're gonna stop you right there. There was a Hawaiian woman. It's funny because she mentioned it, and I've mentioned it before. I kind of like what Tulsi Gabbard was spitting. She's Hawaiian. I mean, yeah, she might not be black, but she still is a woman. I would have voted for her, but the DNC decided to kneecap the shit out of her, just like they did Bernie twice. And you know how bad? I don't know. As someone in the comments on one of these videos had told me that Tulsi Gabbard went right. You know what I'm saying? You know how bad you have to be? You know how bad your party has to be to screw you over so goddamn bad that you join the enemy? Like, you know, like that is some like anime-esque shit right here we're seeing right now. And people are still being like, oh yeah, it's because she's a woman, bro. Like, you do realize that you had candidates that people were really willing and ready to vote for. And y'all were just like, nah. And now we're here. Congratulations. You played yourself.
historic, flawlessly run campaign.
Listen, I'm no political
Flawless
analyst,
my
but
ass.
losing seems like a pretty big flaw. Truly,
Right?
don't overthink it. It's because she's a woman,
Wrong.
she's a black woman. Don't overthink it. In fact, don't think about it at all.
And Kamala Harris lived up to our dreams. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. She ran a remarkable 107-day emergency campaign full of joy and hope.
Kamala Harris was the perfect candidate, and she ran a beautiful campaign of joy, empathy, and unity. Joy and empathy and unity doesn't motivate people to go to the polls. No wonder Republicans had incredible turnout and so many Democrats stayed home. This isn't Steven's universe. You just can't, like, joy and empathy and unity your way out of not being able to afford food for your family. CNN has a story titled, "Where the Harris Campaign Went Wrong." Nope. I won't read it. Harris ran a great campaign. The story should be
This is also part of the problem too. Like right here. And it's not just like specifically this, it's just a lot of shit that I've seen. Or it's like, here is the problem that the voters are saying. This is like what we want addressed. And like the people in the upper echelons are just, nope, I won't read it. Like, bro, if I told you, right? If I told you I need a loaf of bread, right? You have a loaf of bread. And you have no reason to not give it to me. In fact, you are behooved to give it to me. I am on my knees beseeching thee. Hand me that loaf of bread. And when you do hand me that loaf of bread, not only am I happy, I will follow you into battle and die, right? But for some reason, you just piss on the bread and throw it away. And then as you turn around to go into battle, you realize that over your shoulder, you have no one with you. Like, because I'm not with you. I wanted the bread. All you had to do was give me bread. That's it. That's literally all you had to do. And it was in your hand. And you dropped it. And now you're surprised. This high level snobbery you got going on here is actually fucking ridiculous. But whatever. I'm just a man. Fucking
titled "Where the American People Went Wrong." La la la, I can't hear you. La 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 la, I can't hear you. It's not me, it's you. La 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 la. The cope is unreal here. They don't even want to listen to criticism. They really think they did absolutely nothing wrong. They only see this as a Trump win and not a Democrat failure. Kamala Harris was not a flawed candidate. America is a flawed country. This incredible tweet here is from Shannon Watts, who is on the board of Emerge America, which is an organization that, quote, shows Democratic women how to run for office.
Damn.
Yeah, we're never getting a female president.
Joe Biden's been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he could fulfill, being a transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days, make Kamala Harris the president of the United States. Whoa. He would absolve her.
Wow. What the f*** is this Make-A-Wish president shit? Like she's a little kid who wants to play pretend. Oh, just let her for a few days. What? Please tell me. We're not gonna get the first female president out of pity. Well done, America.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. As soon as she got elected, that's what everyone was saying. Like Joe Biden's gonna be there for a while, set some things up, and then just dip. You know what I'm saying? Just fucking dip. And then we're gonna get a first female president because of that. And I was thinking to myself, and now follow me. Maybe this is sexist because I'm gonna ask you a question real quick. Chat, YouTube, I'm gonna ask both y'all a question right now. It's not a little sexist, is it? That doesn't sound sexist to you? Because it sounds a little sexist to me. It's like, yeah, she couldn't win. She dropped out of the primaries, right? She's dropped out, couldn't do it, and then got a man in there, and then he was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave and give it to you because I know you wanted it. Seems a little weird. Seems a little patronizing if you ask me. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm out of pocket. Who knows? I don't
Failed
know.
them both. The people cannot let politicians down. That's not how this works.
Yeah,
As a
public
politician,
servants.
you are not owed anyone's vote. You have to earn it, and evidently she didn't earn it. We already went through this in 2016. Donald Trump beat both female candidates. Donald iron sealing Trump. It's not our fault the female candidate.
I mean, actually, his name is Donald I Beat Women Trump. And it's crazy. It's crazy how you can say that, and it doesn't lead to domestic violence. Because that's immediately what you think when you hear it. And now children are going to have to learn. So children will learn that in history, throughout history of America. That's crazy, isn't it? That's fucking insane.
Candidates you're putting up are dog shit. Give us some good female candidates and maybe people will vote for them. At this rate, the first female president is going to be a Republican. Mark my words.
I can
it's
see
bound
it.
to happen.
I can
and
see
if
it.
it doesn't happen, this was a joke. One of the groups that showed up overwhelmingly for Trump was Latinos. One of
Yep.
the major stories of the results is the significant surge in support for Trump among Latino voters. Trump nearly erased the Democratic advantage in this group, narrowing the gap from 33 points to just 8. Democrats going to build the wall 50 times higher after that one. We have to have a very, very uncomfortable conversation about Latino voters in this country. Me watching him deport the Latinos and the Arab Americans after they voted for him. And Cinco de Mayo.
To all you Latinos that voted for Trump.
I'm not going to get into it, but that tweet reeks of you have no idea what Cinco de Mayo is. All right.
Trump, I hope he mass deports you and your entire family, whether you were here legally or not. You gotta go.
I know for a fact that most Latinos for Trump have undocumented family members. So if you know of a Latino who voted for Trump, I urge you to call this number and report said family members.
Donald Trump's strongest soldiers. Spiteful liberals.
A district that's 97% Latino went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the, it's on the border.
It's
the border
misogyny.
crisis is on their doorstep. And they were begging people to care about it for years. We need to take some less.
That's what that was.
Another demographic for people that overwhelmingly showed up to vote against Kamala
Blacks.
were Muslims. In a
them too.
Michigan-specific
Yeah.
poll of 502 registered Muslim voters, Stein got 59% support, followed by Trump at 22%, and Harris with a tiny 14% of the vote. The results show significant backlash to the Biden administration's handling of Israel's brutal war in Gaza, which has killed at least 43,508 Palestinians, including more than 16,765 children, as well as how the Harris campaign chose to tackle the issue. So how exactly did they tackle that issue? Why, sending
I heard
that
it was
old
bad.
pervert freak Bill Clinton up to Michigan to talk down to Muslims about Palestine.
I understand why young Palestinian and Arab Americans in Michigan think too many people have died. I get that.
Think?
But
Muslims really
What?
said, we hate you more than the guy that talked about a Muslim ban. Just a side note, look at this fucking guy. It's like he hasn't
He's a
had his
corpse.
daily dose of adrenochrome in a week. Someone get this man a fresh child, stat. Muslims, Latinos, who else are we gonna blame? Ah yes, women. Yes,
Oh,
Trump
yeah.
improved with young men,
Yeah.
but he drew in young women too.
Wow, look at that. 52% of all women who look.
Also, this thing here, I said it in the last video, if you're going to make broad statements, no pun intended, but if you're going to make broad statements about a gigantic swath of people and call them dumb, I mean, you're getting no pity. You're just not.
Look like me are f***ing stupid.
Despite making abortion the #1 issue in her campaign, despite Brat Summer, despite the white women for Harris Zoom calls, and most of all, despite the Taylor Swift endorsement, Harris only managed to get +8 with women. Despite it all, many women came out to support Trump, especially Gen Z women. In 2020, 30% of young women voted for Trump. In 2024, 40% of young women voted for Trump. In fact, so many women voted for him that women on TikTok started wearing blue bracelets to signal to other women that they were one of the good ones who didn't vote for Trump.
Swifties, I'm buying as many blue beads and blue hearts as I can, and I'm gonna make bracelets so we know who we can trust.
Yeah. Anyway, some young women in response to Trump's victory are starting to get into the 4B movement, a movement started in South Korea. Basically, MGTOW for women. Women giving up on dating men, having sex with men, having babies, marriage, whatever.
Oh no. Oh no. All of the dudes who weren't getting sex before are now not getting sex now. Crazy. Oh no. Anyway.
We are taking coochie off the table indefinitely.
Cancel all future plans with men. 4B is where it's at. Use their own stupid traditional views against them. Say that you don't want sex before marriage. Say that you are...
I vaguely want to say that this was just like a troll post, but there are a lot of people, a lot of men, that wanted this anyway. So like, what are we doing here? It's like, it's so empowering. We're gonna do exactly what they wanted us to do out of spite. The fuck out of here, man.
Are waiting for the right man. They will be seething because they are sexually dependent on women who they call sluts. See, this is the best angle. No sex before marriage. Give them what they voted for. So conservatives won the election and women are threatening to not sleep around. It kind of seems like the conservatives won a little more than just the election.
That's a win.
I might do a whole video on the 4B movement. Tell me if you're interested in that. I don't know. Anyway, young men did come out and support Trump, and apparently for the reasons I and many others predicted. We asked young men why they voted for Donald Trump. Here's what they said. Nick Sumners, a 21-year-old cosmetic car repairman from Virginia, says he is pro-choice, but when he voted in the 2024 presidential election, he did so for Donald Trump. Despite his personal beliefs, he says that Trump talks about the American people in a way that resonates with him, without, in his opinion, faulting him for his gender and sexual orientation. I'm a straight white man, and I feel like we take the blame for a lot of things. Of course there are bad guys, he adds, insisting that...
That's crazy. It's almost like what people have been saying for a while actually has real-world effects. Oh no. Oh my god. Who would have thought? If you're constantly shitting on men when you need them, they will not be there. Oh my god. Oh, I never saw that one come. Man, get the fuck out of here, dude.
He's not one of them just because he voted for Trump. But what appealed to him about Donald Trump was that his campaign was not coming after us. He was highlighting the American people, which we are. It doesn't matter what color you are, what you may identify as. Since I wasn't excluded, I resonated with it.
Damn.
When you tell a young white guy, hey, you're an oppressor, and because you're white, you have privileges that your black and Hispanic peers didn't have, and you're inherently at fault, or you're guilty for that, which is what a lot of the left wings or Democrats are saying. We're not racist, we're not misogynistic, we're just normal people, and we are friends with everyone. We're tired of hearing a lot of this BS from a lot on the...
Yep, this exact thing all the time. Like, holy shit. And it's not just like if you cut out white guy, or if you cut out white guy and just say guy, yeah, you're getting like everyone's getting hit with that. So it's not just white men; they were just going after men in general, and this is what happens. Like this is what happens. So huzzah, you got what you paid for.
Far left. I feel like there's this cultural frustration that young men have that they're not allowed to be young men. I hope the male loneliness epidemic eats you MAGA scum alive. I hope you feel a hole in your soul and feel unloved until your dying day. I hope you rot in your deathbed wondering why women looked at you like you had rabies your whole life as your eyes closed for the last time. Unfortunately, the all men suck branding just isn't good for getting men to ally with you. Oh no, it can't be! Is that the consequences of my own actions?
Right, who
Yes,
thought?
the reasonable and rational men know you aren't talking about them, but maybe it's time to realize that most men aren't reasonable and rational. How do you speak to young men when they're literally Nazis? Why are Gen Z males the f***ing Hitler youth? How do we get young men to get on board with the young men eat shit and die movement? Hear me out. Maybe not calling them Hitler youth? After the election, a YouTuber I am subscribed to uploaded a video called How the Right is Winning Young Men, and I was excited to see his take. But then it comes time to talk about men's issues, and this is how he did it.
But this is the part where I want to enter the male loneliness epidemic. I know. We're all tired of hearing.
The entire idea of the male loneliness epidemic is it's this idea that really centers men and men's feelings. The premise is of quite a flawed premise to begin with.
I agree. I also, I have such mixed feelings about this. I do.
Like you don't.
Unpopular though it is on the left to like give grace to the male loneliness epidemic. I have
Whoa, I'm stopping right there, buddy. Give grace? Give grace. How long have you been online? You must have just got online like 2 days ago, if that's what you believe. That's insane. Brother, you're crazy if that's what you think. But also, let me paint the picture for you. Let me make sure this makes sense to you. So, before this, people were telling men to show their emotions. Fair, valid. Hear that? I'm snapping because it's valid, right? And then men tell you their emotions and their feelings, and a lot of them are telling you that they are lonely. Sad. Sad day in the kingdoms. Can I get that from chat? Sad. And then you proceed to not care, throw it in their face, and tell them that they should die. Now, I don't know what it is, and maybe chat, maybe the YouTube comments could tell me. That entire idea, that entire 3-part story that I told you, there might be something wrong with it. I don't know what it is, but there might be something wrong with that. I don't know. I'm going to think about that.
Mixed feelings about it. I'm picking my words carefully so the leftists don't murder me. Like, don't rake me over the coals for this, but I think that I understand as much as I can understand a heterosexual man.
Yeah, I think we found the answer to the video title. I have to pick my words carefully so my own movement doesn't attack me for caring about men's issues. You see the issue? If you can't talk about this without having to walk on eggshells in fear of your own allies ripping your head off, maybe that is part of the reason men are moving right. Also, I feel like this is really important to say. I don't think all these men are moving right. I think just a lot of them hate the Democratic Party and feel alienated from the left. So what was the...
And don't forget, I feel like a lot of men do this. I know I do this. I know all my friends do this. Spite. Out of pure spite. Like you keep telling me things that I shouldn't do, and keep telling me why I'm a bad person. Fuck you, I'm gonna do it anyway. Right? I feel like that's what that is too.
The overwhelming takeaway from the Democrats and the left to actually start listening to men? No, of course not. Instead, their solution once again seems to be we need a liberal Joe Rogan. We need a liberal Joe Rogan, ASAP. We need a left-wing Rogan. Democrats are gonna keep losing until they have their own Joe Rogan, their own Elon Musk, until they create their own alternative to Fox News. People saying Harris should have done Joe Rogan are missing the point. That wouldn't have helped her. Liberals need to build their own Joe Rogan. Oh my god, we need a liberal Joe Rogan. You had a liberal Joe Rogan. His name was Joe Rogan. But he was too edgy, too problematic, said too many no-no words, talked to too many no-no people about no-no topics. And in 2020, when Bernie Sanders went on his podcast and Joe endorsed him, the Democrat journalist class freaked the out and smeared him for weeks.
About that.
The left can't have a Joe Rogan because everything that makes Joe Rogan is not allowed on the left. Kamala Harris ditched Joe Rogan podcast interview over progressive backlash fears. So Joe Rogan was too problematic? but Liz Cheney was fine? Listen, you don't need a leftist Joe Rogan or liberal Joe Rogan. You just need leftists and liberals to go on Joe Rogan. And that means not giving a shit about being canceled by your own movement.
Look, you could have an argument with Rogan, agree with him, disagree with him, but what's the problem going on those shows? I got vilified by some of the Democratic establishment because I went on Rogan's show. Now a lot of other people are doing just that.
Anyways, liberals should start doing podcasts and TikToks and whatever aimed at setting the youth straight. Ah, yes.
They do, and they're terrible. They're actually fucking garbage.
There's nothing the youth enjoy more than being set straight.
We don't have the equivalent of Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson to move that man in a feminist direction. By the way, we should educate men that it's actually really great to live with a strong woman who makes money. It's actually easier. Life is easier.
Right.
We're going to be under Republican rule for the next 100 years, aren't we?
Something
Trump's
like that.
win leaves Democrats asking,
wait.
where are...
Before we get to the next part, this was also something that I thought was interesting too. So I feel like the Republican Party is a very interesting position right now. So they have power, right? Everyone doesn't like the Democratic Party. So everything, well, not everyone, but a lot of people don't seem to like the Democratic Party. And if they want to be in power for like the next 100 years, and like this seems, I don't know, I'm not an economist or anything, but in order to get there, you just need to do slightly better than what's been happening for the last 4 years, and slowly building on that every 4 years. You know what I'm saying? So if they can do that, I do not see a way that the Democrats are coming back from this anytime soon. So, and that's giving it my best. So hopefully they can. Hopefully that's something they can do. Because I don't know about you, and I feel like this is a bipartisan issue. Bread and eggs and milk cost way too goddamn much, and I don't care who is in office, as long as they can get that stuff lower in price. Feel like we're gonna have a good time.
Our bro whisperers. We have to make entertaining, engaging content that men want to watch and care about. Then, over time, you pepper in more progressive views. So you want to start a normal podcast and then start sprinkling in propaganda? Should you even be saying this out loud? Dems need to seriously put all their money into creating propaganda network to compete with the right's massive amount of propaganda. Democrats need their own propaganda machine, and I'm not even joking a little bit. First of all, again, I don't think we need better propaganda is something you should be saying out loud. Second of all, Democrats already have that, and have had it for decades. It's called Hollywood. It's called every celebrity, every institution, every piece of media, from movies to video games. Every celebrity from Beyonce to Taylor Swift endorsed her. She had Cardi B at all her rallies. She got the fucking Avengers together.
Yeah.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Avengers.
Hey, Scarlett. Wow, Trump is literally Thanos. By the way, with all these journalists and people talking about how we need a liberal Andrew Tate, a liberal Joe Rogan, yeah, be prepared to see some of the most forced, overproduced, astroturfed streamers and YouTubers to pop up overnight and subtly or not so subtly start shilling for the Democratic Party. You're gonna start seeing funded DNC plants all over YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, because they really do think the answer to all of this is more podcasts. All the funding in the world won't buy you an audience. You could have $1 million.
That too, but also, that didn't work. Wow, that doesn't even. I can't even. They're just hi, how you doing? I can't actually read that. Hello, how you doing? But also, what the fuck was I saying? Yeah, that didn't work. It's like that didn't work the last time they did it either. Like there were people online that were already doing that, and it didn't work. And then when Trump won, a lot of them got online and complained about how they were losing subscribers. So, and that's all they did. So that I don't see how this is gonna work. It really, in short, this is essentially what is happening. Oh God, Mike. One party is telling you whatever you want to do, you can go on ahead and do it. And then the other party is telling you, yeah, you're a terrible person, go die. So maybe switch the messaging, which I feel like people have been saying since 2014, and it just hasn't happened. But hey, whatever.
set and the best sound and video equipment ever, but it will not buy you a large and dedicated audience. I've been using a Mac laptop webcam and a shitty snowball mic for over 10 years, and you idiots keep coming back for some reason.
That's a Blue Yeti.
And listen, it's 2024. Y'all have a camera and a microphone. Be the
It's true.
liberal Joe Rogan you want to see in the world. But the thing is, if people can hear your opinions when they turn on the TV, they're not gonna watch your shit. People tune into alt media to hear alt opinions. Even the most popular
True.
leftist streamers, like Hassan, for example, spend a lot of time criticizing the Democratic Party. So it's gonna be hard to build some kind of like Democrat shill Joe
Yeah, I was about to
Rogan.
say.
But I can't wait to see you try. After the election, one of the only politicians I've seen who is actively trying to understand why people voted the way that they did is AOC. When I met her, I whispered into her ear, "Take the pronouns out of your bio." And she did. My influence. Anyway, after the election, AOC found out that a ton of people voted for her down ballot, but also voted for Trump for president on the same ticket. Curious, she took to her Instagram to ask people why they did that. And these were some of their answers. I feel like Trump and you are both real. It's real simple. Trump and you care for the working class. But also you signified change. Trump signified change. I've said lately, Trump sounds more like you. Loved ones say you're both straightforward in challenging corruption and broken government. Because it's different than what has been the last 4 years. Something had to go. I feel that you both are outsiders compared to the rest of DC and less establishment. Voted Trump, but I like you and Bernie. I don't trust either party establishment politicians. The replies, of course, were full of people like, these idiots, these morons, these fools. Most depressing shit I've ever seen. These people sound dumb as hell. Such staggering ignorance and stupidity. The median voter. I hate the median voter. I want to destroy the median voter. Why is the median voter this stupid? I hate the median voter. How could this—
Look, it's me. I'm that guy. I'm the median voter. Seeing shit like this makes
be real.
I would go out of my way to be like, who are you voting for? Oh, you're voting for that person? Cool. I'm gonna vote for the opposite person just because I know you don't like it. Also, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Americans really are the dumbest gentlemen on earth. This is giving me a headache. I don't understand the median voter. Listen, it's really not that hard to understand. It's populism, honey. It's why when I went to January 6th and told a bunch of boomers I was a Bernie supporter, a ton of them reacted like this.
I think he's one of the few honest people yeah, I think he's honest. He beat Hillary Clinton, and he would have beat Joe Biden, too.
People hate empty suits that sound like they're constantly reading from a script. They want
This is
someone
true.
who tells it like it is. Someone who fights for the everyman, or at least sounds like they do.
How are you feeling about Trump's upcoming presidency, Trump 2?
I voted for him.
Damn.
You like AOC?
Yeah.
Did you vote for her?
Yeah. Remember one thing about why people voted for Trump. They want change.
The average American voter
fair enough.
despises the establishment and will vote for anyone who—
And another way of saying it, if you're not really picking up what she's putting down, it could be summed up by like one sentence, two maybe. I love America, but I hate our government. Right. Facts, right? I say that every time some fucking Euro trash is over here like, oh, America sucks. I'm like, America's actually great. Get your GDP up before you talk to me, fuckhead. But I don't like the government, so you can say the American government's garbage, and I will agree with you to high heaven.
who promises to destroy it. And the fact that none of you understand this is a big reason why you lost and will continue to lose until you do understand it. Capiche?
Oh, yeah.
The beatings will continue until the populism improves. How could people have voted for this felon? How could they vote for Trump, especially after January 6th?
I find it kind of funny that I heard, now this is going to be not take, but I feel like it's kind of funny. How could you vote for him? He's a felon. So is your baby daddy. Shut the fuck up.
6, where he led a bunch of his supporters to destroy that beautiful shining beacon of hope. Well, first of all, you have to understand that that's not a shining beacon of hope to most people. That is a dirty, disgusting brothel that sold out the future of their children and will probably send them into the next World War. After all the indictments, the mugshots, the committees, the documentaries, people clearly don't care about January 6th. And that might scare some people, but the truth is, a politician that promises safety and affordable food can do 100 January 6s. It's kind of like FDR said, democracy has disappeared in several other great nations, not because the people of those nations dislike democracy, but because they had grown tired of unemployment and insecurity, of seeing their children hungry while they sat helpless in the face of government confusion and government weakness through lack of leadership. Finally, in desperation, they chose to sacrifice liberty in hope of getting something to eat. Speaking of FDR, let's talk a little bit about the guy that FDR stole a bunch of his ideas from, shall we? Someone who the modern Democratic Party should probably try and learn from. That's right, I finally found an excuse to talk about my favorite politician. The man, the myth, the legend, the kingfish himself, Huey Long.
Who dat?
Huey Long was the 40th governor of Louisiana from 1928 to 1932. He was a populist member of the Democratic Party and rose to national prominence during the Great Depression. He took on big oil and Wall Street and drastically helped lift Louisiana out of poverty. Long had many supporters and haters, and to this day is celebrated as a populist champion of the people, and at the same time, denounced as a fascist demagogue. To give you a better idea of who Huey was, here are some quotes from the man himself. Corrupted by wealth and power, your government is like a restaurant with only one dish. They've got a set of Republican waiters on one side and a set of Democratic waiters on the other. But no matter which set of waiters brings you the dish, the legislative grub is all prepared in the same Wall Street kitchen. The only difference I ever found between the Democratic leadership and the Republican leadership is that one of them is skinning you from the ankle up and the other from the ear down. But Huey Long wasn't some enlightened centrist, no. The man firmly had a side, and that side was the people. I'm for the poor man, all poor men, black and white. They all gotta have a chance. They gotta have a home, a job, a decent education for their children. Every man a king. That's my slogan. When asked if he cared about the bad press he got, Huey replied, "All I care about is what the boys at the forks of the creek think of me." And when Big Oil threatened to leave Louisiana, he said, "If they gotta leave, they can go to hell and stay there." They don't make politicians like this anymore. Politicians used to be like mob bosses. Now they go on Call Her Daddy podcasts. Sad. Huey had many powerful enemies, and because of this, he was assassinated in 1935. His last words were allegedly, "God, don't let me die. I have so much to do." There's a lot of talk online right now about how we need a Joe Rogan for the left and Andrew Tate for the left, but there's also talk about how we need a Donald Trump for the left, and well, Huey Long was exactly that. And to be completely honest, I don't think you people could handle a Donald Trump for the left. You couldn't even handle Bernie Sanders. You called him a sexist and a racist and did everything in your power to crush him and keep him down. But unlike Bernie, Huey Long wouldn't just lay down and take it. Huey Long would scare the shit out of the modern Democratic Party. But if there's anyone they need to take a lesson from, it's him. Alright, time to get out of this costume. I feel like an old hooer. It should come as no great surprise that the Democratic Party, which has abandoned working class people, would find that the working class had abandoned them. Bernie Sanders said in a statement about the results of Tuesday's election.
Crazy.
While the Democratic
dude's like 106 years old, still based as ever.
Leadership defends the status quo, the American people are angry and want change, and they're right. Will the big money interest and well-paid consultants who control the Democratic Party learn any real lessons from this disastrous campaign?
Nope.
Will they understand the pain and political alienation that tens of millions of Americans are experiencing?
Nope.
Do they have any ideas as to how we can take on the increasingly powerful oligarchy, which has so much economic power? Probably not. All the groups that Sanders originally courted, young people, Latinos, the working class, are gone. And I don't know if they're coming back. Maybe this is a one-time thing, maybe it's just because of Trump or inflation, or maybe the meme is coming true. Maybe Republicans are the new party of the working class. Democrats' working class exodus sets off reckoning within party. Democrats, who have long prided themselves as the party for the little guy, instead strengthened their emerging base of financially secure college graduates this election, while a growing number of blue-collar voters embraced Trump and Republicans. Especially alarming for Democrats this election, the exodus of working class voters from the Democratic Party included not just white voters, but helped Trump make gains with Latino and black men. This realignment crystallized a political reality that is tough for Democrats to swallow. With blue-collar voters flocking away from their party over multiple election cycles,
yeah, it's kind of crazy how you would think that the people that make this country move, you know what I mean? Blue-collar workers. If you all of a sudden don't have them, the higher-ups or the establishment that used to have them, now all of a sudden are grinding to a halt. Who would have thought?
Democrats' refashioned base is becoming more upper class, urban, suburban, and coastal. It's a narrowed coalition that does not bode well for future elections. To put things into perspective, the Trump coalition is closer to the Obama coalition than the Harris one is. That is crazy. That is wild. That is what we call a potential party switch. And I don't really care about how many leftists or Democrats cope about this. We have better union policies, we have better wages policy. Yeah, that might be true, and I agree, but we don't get to decide who the party of the working class is. The working class does. And if
Also, you didn't run on that either. Like, you just didn't run on that. You for some reason decided, yeah, hey, maybe we just do a whole bunch of shit that no one actually likes or wanted, and we'll work with that. And they did. And it didn't work. Now they're mad. Crazy.
exit polls are anything to go by, basic left-wing economic policy is still incredibly popular.
Yep.
People just hate the Democratic Party. White men without college degrees are going to ruin this country. First of all, white men without college degrees built this country, bitch. Second of all, this is apparently a real Democratic Party strategist saying this. You want to know how to win 2028? Step 1. Stop listening to freaks like this. The election, if having a degree was a requirement to vote. And this is what the election would look like if everyone was allowed to vote. Oh wait, that's this election. I too hate democracy.
And I think Bernie Sanders is wrong. I think the more relevant question actually is, what is wrong with America?
Democrats have a smug problem. The day after the election, an NBC...
Yep, all that hoity-toity shit finally decided to bite you in the ass. And now you're kind of wondering why. Like, as much as I want to laugh, this is just kind of aggravating. And again, I'm on neither side, but just like to just hear that, like, America has a problem. Like, bitch, you do realize that you are the problem, right? You are the problem. Nah, it can't be them. They just lost, like, tremendously, and now we're in debt $20 million. It's fucking hilarious.
News chart circulated on Instagram that highlighting exit poll data showing that the more education you had, the more likely you would vote for Vice President Kamala Harris over President-elect Donald Trump. Some liberals used the occasion to look down upon the icky dummies who were too stupid to know they shouldn't vote for Trump. Yet Trump's victory was both definitive and diverse. He won broad swaths of the electorate, making significant gains in New York and California, and winning over larger percentages of Latino voters and young voters than in 2020. He also won a majority of first-time voters. Large factions of the left condescendingly believe that dumb people are the reason Trump won in 2016 and won again in 2024. And that patronizing, visceral vibe is obvious. It's a massive turnoff to many other voters. It is a mountain smug Democrats have.
It's crazy because, like, this is, in this case, yes, we're talking about voters, but let's just take away this word voters for a second. Picture you went into work and someone that's supposedly on the exact same level as you looks down on you. What are you thinking? You're thinking that guy should eat a dick and die. So now when you decide to put that shit on a macro scale, now everyone is going to tell you to eat a dick and die. And the sheer fact that you have no idea why this is happening is insane. Now, I don't know what's going to happen, through this next 4 years, but it seems like that Democrats are going to sit and continue to do the exact same thing that they've been doing for a while now, and that's just talking down to people. And when they lose again to whoever, which I wouldn't be surprised if it was J.D. Vance, wouldn't be surprised, they're also going to bitch and complain about that. And I wonder if they're going to do another 4 years of that. Insane.
Have to overcome if they want to reconnect with voters. Once, the coastal liberal establishment had an air of open-mindedness, but now these elites have evolved into the provincial, narrow-minded scolds they once critiqued. All their education has narrowed their worldview. Their credentialism has built themselves a bubble in which to hide from reality. The contempt many liberals and some leftists have for the working class has never been more on display than it is right now. Even coming from
my brother in Christ. We grow your food. We make sure your cars go. We repair your house. We build the houses. We transport the goods from one area to another. And you're going to look down on us? Like, bro, we're doing the jobs that you don't want to do. In fact, I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like we should be getting paid more, and we're not. But then to hear that, and then also be talked down to, I mean, I've already said it. It's the carousel just going around again and again and again. God, I wish time travel was real, because I'd go 4 years from now, just on this day, just see what happened. Because if I did, I'd put my money on another Republican winning. As sad as that may be for some people.
From some leftist YouTubers I watch that I know better and spend a lot of their time trying to bring people to the left. Your college degree does not make you any smarter than a working class person without a college degree. And more importantly, don't talk down to a vast majority of the population. Because despite how badly you want to believe it, they are not stupid. They are the people who grow your food, build your houses, pave your roads, fix the plumbing in your luxury apartments. And guess what? There are more of them than they are of you. So maybe you people should start listening to them instead of wagging your finger in their faces as if disagreeing with you is some moral failing, because it's not. These people aren't all racists and Nazis or whatever. They are normal people. They are the proletariat. They're who you should be fighting for. And they don't believe you are fighting for them. More importantly, there is a difference between being educated and being smart. IQ isn't just about how many books you read or how many words you know. A lot of it is about pattern recognition, and boy did I recognize some patterns here. Maybe
I was about to say, your IQ, aka your intelligence quotient, really doesn't have anything to do with how smart you are, but it is a good predictor on if you are going to be smart or not. So you could have a low IQ and be pretty smart. It's not very likely, but it's something that can happen.
you guys should have listened to the bimbo with populist brain rot, because she seemed to be right about a lot of this. If the Democratic Party wants to win another election, they need to start understanding the importance of populism. Drop the divisive identity politics and focus on the bread and butter issues, or you are doomed. Become the party of Huey Long again, or you are doomed. But you know what? Maybe you're not doomed. Because if Trump fails to deliver on his promises, or we get like George Bush 3, it's totally possible that the populism vacuum will be open again. Will the Democrats take advantage of this and actually put up a good candidate? No. They're gonna put up like Pete Buttigieg or Gavin Newsom, and the populism vacuum will be filled by people like my Twitter mutual and soon-to-be Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance. That is still so weird. What do I do with this power? Hey, JD, best buddy, I have an idea. It's called Patriot Care, and it's healthcare, but our tax dollars go to it instead of bombs. Doesn't that sound cool? If you can't beat 'em, join 'em. The fact is, this election was a complete rejection of the liberal ideology. Or it was just because of inflation and people want to afford eggs again. Yeah, it was probably that. It just kind of sucks to see the party you voted for your whole life, the party you grew up with, just get worse and worse over time. After this, the Democrats are gonna move right in the dumbest ways. They're gonna become like the new neocons, but gay. And I have no idea how a second Trump term is gonna go. I hope it goes well. I don't know. Congrats to RFK, I guess. I'll see you guys in the Adderall.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Wait, RFK. The fuck? That's me. No. No, hell no. You're hilarious. But, shit, what was I gonna say? That was surprising as fuck. Oh, yeah, I feel like everyone, whether you like him or not, should be like, I hope this presidency goes well. Because, like, do you really want 4 more years of exactly this? Or are you rooting actively against everyone else? Like, are you trying to say you want 4 more years that are worse than this? Like, I don't understand. Like, why would you want that? Because it's funny, because from what I've heard from my Republican friends and my Democratic friends, these last 4 years have been garbage. So I don't know why you would actively be wanting to go against anyone who's in there, whether you like them or not. But I feel like that's too meta. I feel like that's too meta thinking right there. Can't look past your own nose or something.
Labor camps. Otherwise known as the concentration camps. Get it?
Nazi.
Okay. Anyway. So that is enough of my yapping. Now I want to hear you yap. Why do you think Trump won? And what could the Democrats do to win 2028? Anyway, if you liked this...
And personally, I'm going to ask you that exact same question, but I really do want the Republicans to answer this. Because it seems like there aren't enough Democrats for it to actually matter anymore, and everyone kind of just switched red. So, like, what do you think? Like, a specific, also, especially if you were someone who was blue and then voted red. You know what I mean? I want to see what you guys are thinking, provided it's not just Americans, all Americans are sexist, because that's just not productive.
Video, please consider subscribing. Also, if you can, donate to me on Patreon, or you could do a little tip with the little tip jar down below somewhere. It helps the channel a lot, and I appreciate it so much. And I will see you very soon with a new video that is very, very different than this one. Some of you might like it. I know a certain community will, but that is it for now, so bye!
Yeah, I was about to say, give her a tip. She has a baby, by the way. It's fucking insane to think about.